Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Chrissy Francis. I use she, her pronouns, and I work as a career counselor in the College of Science and Engineering. Today, I am joined by two moderators, Derek and Jasmine, who are both officers of SACE. They're going to be helping me share links in the chat, as well as kind of moderating the chat and answering some Q&A as well. So the plan for today is that we're going to have this be a quick workshop, about 30 minutes in length. We'll have some time for questions at the end. So if you have any questions that come up during the presentation, feel free to use the Q&A feature and submit your questions there. And as a note, there will be a recording of this presentation on the CSE YouTube channel within about a day or two. So you can check back there for more information. I also turned on the live transcript button, so if you want to hide that, feel free to hide it in your control panel as well. All right, so today we are going to be covering job and internship search strategies. For some of you, you've probably searched for a job or internship before, and for some of you, it might be your very first time. So searching can be pretty exciting, but it can also be really stressful and time consuming. Ideally, today we'll cover some strategies that will make it feel a little bit more manageable for you. So it's important to head into this with an idea of what to expect and how to be prepared in as many ways as possible. So beginning the search, I think it's pretty important to get started early. A typical recruiting cycle in CSE is kind of towards the beginning of the semester. So in the fall, we do have a 2-day career fair because we have a lot of employers that hire in the fall for summer opportunities. And then likewise in the spring, it kind of picks up again around this time. That's why we host our career fair next week. So the positions that you may be talking with employers about at the career fair would be for this upcoming summer. So that's pretty typical. It's not uncommon for employers to continue interviewing for positions later on into the semester as well, but I do think it's important to get started early. So you also want to prioritize. Think about what's important to you. Is it the location, your industry, salary, the skills that you might use, type of supervision? We'll talk a little bit more about these later on, but it's important to get some sense of what you're actually looking for as well. And then using a variety of search strategies can be most effective. We'll talk about ways to tailor your search and then also creating some documents like a resume and cover letter that are targeted for each position can be really helpful. It's important to figure out a system to keep track of your search. So once you find positions you want to apply to, after you've applied, keep track of it somewhere, maybe a spreadsheet so you know your important dates and deadlines, so you're not missing any deadlines. You can follow up on your application. And you also have a copy of the description as well so that you don't forget what you've applied for. That can be pretty helpful. You might also have a plan for networking contacts, some sort of method to keep you on track. That can be really important. I also think it's important to think about the parts that you have control over. I think it can feel really overwhelming when we start getting caught up in all the pieces that we don't have any control over. So this employer didn't offer me an interview or they didn't offer me a job, but all of my classmates seem to be getting opportunities. I have that conversation a lot with CSE students, and I don't think it's always the case that everyone is getting opportunities. I think it just might be more on your radar when you're not the one getting the opportunities, but you don't really have any control over what's happening to your classmates or what the employers are doing. So focus on the parts you do have control over. And then I wanted to also note, if there are any international students that are joining us today, it's important to be prepared to talk about your work authorization and to know what it is. So for those international students that are seeking internships, you're going to want to use CPT work authorization. And for full-time jobs, you would use OPT. So I would encourage all of you to get connected with ISSS for more information on that if you are an international student. All right, and you'll see our moderators have shared our job and internship search guide in our chat. So make sure you take a look at that. It has more detailed information in the guide as well. So thinking about what you're looking for, those industries and companies that might hire your major, that might be a good place to start. You can see the first page in that job and internship search guide. We've got a list of ways that you can find out more information about companies that might be a good fit for you. Within GoldPass powered by Handshake, there's also an employer directory. I'll show that to you a little bit later on, but you can search in there for keywords, your major, location, company size, if you want a big or small company. That may give you some ideas to start from. We also have information on our website under the major and career exploration page. It's a section called What Can I Do with a Major in? And in that page, we have information about top employers for your major, as well as some position titles too, if you need some ideas on how to get started and what you might want to search for. LinkedIn's also a really great resource on finding industries, companies, as well as talking to other people. So your classmates, colleagues, faculty, alums, your parents, your friends. A lot of people have ideas, so it's important to get their input as well. And then directly on company websites, that can give you more information about if you'd like to work at that company or not. You might also want to think about your ideal work environment. Do you like working with other people? Do you like working in teams? Do you like working more alone? Do you want to be in an office setting? Do you want to be in a lab? Is a big company really appealing to you? Maybe a mid or small size company where you get to wear some more hats? Those things can all be important in figuring out where you might want to work. So I have some stats on the screen here, and this is a survey from Glassdoor. So they indicated in their survey that 89% of people think it's important for a company to have a clear mission. 77% consider the company's purpose before applying, and 56% indicated the culture is more important than salary. So a lot of factors really do go into satisfaction. Another consideration would be your ideal location. Do you want to be in or out of state? Do you want to be in Minnesota? Do you want to move to California where it's a little bit warmer? Do you want to be near your current home? Commute time, how long might that be? Is it remote work? Is it in-person work? So a lot of factors with location as well. And then obviously the position type. That's probably going to be one of the critical factors of what you're looking for. So being aware of what's out there and what's possible and what you might enjoy based on your skills and your strengths, maybe even what you value, can be important to consider. We also have a guide shared that is information on researching employers. So you can definitely look at that for more ideas of when you're looking at these websites or our webpage, what things might you want to consider to learn more about that industry and company. So materials you're going to need to do a job and internship search. Resume, we had a whole workshop on that yesterday. So if you missed it, check out our YouTube page on CSE. So most of the time, employers are looking for a one-page resume for undergrads. Graduate level students might be able to get away with 2 pages. Some employers still say they want 1. So in a quick little snippet, you want to make sure that you're emphasizing your related skills for that position and your experiences that you have. A cover letter, sometimes this is a necessary document for applying for these positions as well. And again, in here, you're going to focus on skills and experiences that relate to that position. Sometimes students have a template of a cover letter ready to go, but it is important to kind of adjust that based on each position. You want to connect the dots for employers, so make it obvious why you're a perfect candidate for that position. And another document you might need is a reference list. So this would contain about 3 to 5 professional references, so people that you can think of that would be able to provide a good reference for you should an employer that you're interviewing with call and ask questions. So you want to make sure that you ask those people to be a reference for you, make sure they're okay with it before you list down their contact information. And then you might also want to keep them up to date with where you're interviewing, maybe send them a copy of your resume or the job description so they can be prepared to talk about you. So tailoring these materials is going to be really important. It's pretty easy for an employer to spot out when you've just applied with the same resume and cover letter for all of the positions that you're applying for. It makes it much more effective if you spend a little bit more time on each application and really tailor. So what do I mean by tailoring? It's really customizing your documents for that specific position. So I always recommend reading through the job description and trying to pick out the keywords or the qualifications that the employer is looking for, and then making sure that you have that same type of language and information in your documents. You want to read through your documents, make sure that you are addressing all those specific and unique qualifications that they're looking for. You can certainly include additional things as well, but it's important to make sure that you're matching as well as you can. Some of you may have heard about applicant tracking systems. I find a lot of times this is a new thing for students. They're not sure about these. Basically, applicant tracking systems are computer programs that companies use to scan through resumes to see if you're a good enough fit for the role that they're hiring for. There are a lot of different types of these systems out there, but the best Information we know is that using keywords in your descriptions from the job description also will help you kind of match their system a little bit more. Using minimal formatting, so you don't want tables and a bunch of lines and graphics and things like that on your resume that can kind of confuse those systems. So it's important to get past the applicant tracking system with your online applications. And then also thinking about tailoring kind of your speech, that's another area. So when you're networking, pay attention to who you're speaking with. What do they want to know about? What's their company, their industry? Tailor what you talk about. So what in your background would make a difference for that person to hear? You might also tailor that if you're going to the career fair based on your elevator pitch. So, what things are you going to tell the employer right off the bat about you and your background? And then, similar with interviews, know your audience, speak to them and what they're interested in learning about. And that will really help you fit in with those roles a lot better the more that you tailor. So, I wanted to take a moment to go through how you can read a job description. They're all a little bit different, but for the most part, a lot of them have similar types of information. So usually there are dates on the posting. So it might be dates that they posted as well as deadlines of which you need to apply by. Generally, there's going to be a location of where this position will be taking place, and then maybe a little bit of information about the company as well. This is another part of the same job description here. So this entails maybe what they're looking for and more information about their team, who they are as a company, so you can get a better sense of the organization that you're applying to. And then you're going to see information that has more details about the actual job that you would be doing. So this has some minimum qualifications and then preferred qualifications. I love it when job descriptions have these kind of differentiations because it gives you some guidance. The minimum, you really should be meeting the minimum. And then the preferred qualifications, it's just kind of a nice to have if you have it. So, generally speaking, if you meet about 70% of a job description and you're really excited about it, I would encourage you to apply. Women tend to apply to jobs less frequently than men that they feel that they're underqualified for. So, just keep that in mind, push yourself a little bit, apply for those jobs that you are interested in and you can probably do very well in. I was recently asked a question about internships and if an employer would kind of teach you what you need to know on an internship, or do you need to go in knowing what you're supposed to do? And I think for internships in particular, it really is a teaching experience. Even full time jobs, you're still going to be learning on the job what you're supposed to be doing. So don't let that scare you. But if you've got some of the information that they're requesting in the job description, I feel like it's okay to apply. So we are going to transition into talking about different types of search strategies. There are a lot of different ways to do job and internship searching, but I would recommend try to use at least two different strategies from each of the categories that we'll go over today. So I'm going to be talking about person-to-person strategies and then also online strategies. All right, so some person-to-person strategies. This can be actually in-person or virtual connections. Um, Career fairs, this is a really great way to make those person-to-person connections, excuse me. It's a nice way to have a conversation with somebody, start learning from them. You get to share a little bit more information. It's more personal than just applying online with a resume. So it's a nice way to stand out. Another way to make those contacts is through employer events and information sessions. Information sessions are an opportunity where employers might come either on campus or virtually and share content about who their organization is, what they look for. You might be able to talk back with them and then share a little bit more about your background as well. On-campus interviews, I put that in quotes because we're not doing on-campus interviews right now, but there are still on-campus interviews that you can sign up for through Gold Pass. They're just taking place virtually. So getting in front of an employer again, making that connection. A lot of you probably participate in student organizations or professional organizations. That's another great way to make those connections, meet with professionals in your field. And then also referrals, asking people, do you know anybody that works in the medical device industry? I'd love to get connected. And usually a connection of somebody is a really easier way to get connected and to have conversations than finding somebody on your own. There are plenty of ways to find people on your own too, which I'll also show you. But I also have this statistic here that 70% of all jobs are found through networking. I really do think that's true. Um, even if it's not that you only get the position through talking with somebody, that's not necessarily the case, but oftentimes networking can lead to more information, which will lead to a posted job that you're applying for, and then you get an interview and you're accepted for the position. Excuse me. This is usually a category that scares students a little bit. You don't really want to do the in person. It can be a little, put you outside of your comfort zone a little bit, but it does tend to be really effective. So I would say push yourself a little bit if you're feeling a little nervous, but you're curious. Try it out. All right. And then there are some resources that you can use to make connections for person to person contact through the online resources. So, a couple of them that I'm going to highlight today are called the Maroon and Gold Network and then LinkedIn. So, the Maroon and Gold Network is a university platform that connects alums to current students and other alums. So, you can join the Maroon and Gold Network. You create a profile, it's pretty straightforward and simple. You'd include things like your major, your grad date, maybe activities you're involved in. And then you can search through the platform to find people that you might want to connect with as well. So I took this screenshot. I had already filtered down by the college. So there's a way to select College of Science and Engineering. And then you can see there are other filters as well. So you could type in industry, location, majors, a specific type of help topic. So it might be job searching as a help topic that they have selected. And I also like this system because you can narrow it down by the degree type. So perhaps you are thinking about going to graduate school and you want to talk with somebody that is currently getting their master's degree in computer science. You can select that and find the people in here. And then the system makes it really easy for you to create a message, it kind of gives you a template that you can customize. You can request a meeting to have a conversation with them, and the system has video platform as well. So you can have a video meeting with the person that you're reaching out to. Otherwise, if it's something kind of quick and straightforward, you could just send a message, but I do think the conversations tend to be the most productive. There's also a really good response rate with this system. I believe it's around 90% still. So if you're reaching out to somebody in here, chances are you will hear back. And the nice thing is, everyone in here has already said, yes, we want to be helpful. We want to have these conversations. So you're not bothering anybody. That's the whole reason they're in here. And I double checked today, but we have about over 4,000 people in this system. So it's decent size. You're probably going to find a couple of people that you're looking for, whether it's a specific company or a major, but it's not going to have, hundreds of thousands of people in here to sort through. The other system to highlight is LinkedIn. This system is much, much bigger. So I like using these kind of at the same time because you're going to get different information out of it. So specifically, linkedin.com/alumni. This will pull up the U of M school page if you have the University of Minnesota listed in your profile. If you don't, you can just type in University of Minnesota in the main search bar, select the school page, and then select the alumni tab, and you will still get here. So I really like this because it will allow you to filter out by location, by company. There are a few more filter pages that you can arrow over, and you can select the major, what they're skilled at, how you're already connected. And then below, after you're selecting those filters, you'll see the people that fit that criteria. And you can reach out to these people as well. Send them a message and just tell them why you're contacting them specifically, who you are, and what you're looking for. So you might say, like, dear so-and-so, I see you also studied mechanical engineering at the U of M and are currently working at Toro. I would love to have a conversation with you about your experience here as I'm also considering it, and then send it off. And the worst thing that can happen is they just don't respond or they say no. But the best thing that can happen is they say, yes, sure, I'd love to have a conversation with you. So I think it's worth giving it a shot, playing around with it. Even if you don't reach out to anybody, it can be a really nice tool to explore different job titles and careers out there as well. Also within LinkedIn, not necessarily on this alumni platform, but on the main linkedin.com platform, there is a jobs tab. So that can be helpful to search for positions. There's an internship filter as well, also entry-level positions. If you find companies that you might be interested in working at, you can also filter down by people that you know that work at that company. So you can see who from your network is working there. You can search specific companies and follow them. then you'll get updated information about the company. And that can be really helpful if you have an interview coming up with them. Then you can say, well, I recently saw, and then give them a little bit of information. And then you can also use the system to reach out to recruiters directly and inquire about having a conversation. So a lot of really great uses for LinkedIn. Okay, so let's transition to just the online platforms that you might use for searching. So I mentioned GoldPass powered by Handshake a little bit earlier on. We'll go into these in more depth. We'll talk about company web pages, LinkedIn again, job search websites, and then temp and staffing agencies. All right, so this is a screenshot of LinkedIn, or excuse me, GoldPass. Every now and then I misspeak. So if I say that again, I really do mean GoldPass right now. GoldPass is the same as Handshake. We use it interchangeably. So this is a job description or kind of the jobs portal that I'm looking at on here. You can see the listing of the positions over on the left-hand side of the screen and then the actual role on the right-hand side. So you'll see that, again, there's an application deadline on here, the date that it was posted, also work authorization. So one of the nice features of GoldPass is that there is a CPT, OPT, as well as a sponsorship filter as you're looking for positions. So if you're an international student, I would recommend using those. You can also search by industries or the job function. Using keywords, I think, is really effective. And I usually recommend staying away from the major filter. It tends not to work very well. You might get things that don't apply to you. And I think the keyword works a lot better than your major. So you could just type in your major into that keyword search and see what comes up. You'll also notice on this page, there's a red button that says apply. You can apply directly through GoldPass for positions here. So you can upload your resume, a cover letter if they request it, transcripts, anything else that you might need, and then apply right within the system. You might also see a button that says apply externally, and it will prompt you to either start and complete or finish your application on the company website. So just know that that can happen as well. So you can see up towards the top of the page, there is an employers tab. This is again where you can find out about company information. Sometimes you can see actual contact information of recruiters that work at that company. So it might be one to check out on there. And then we also have events at the very top of the page. This is where you can find out about those employer events like career fairs and info sessions and join those to learn a little bit more. And then another nice feature of this system is there is a students tab at the top. So here's where you can reach out to other students who have either interned or worked at a company that you're considering. You can search by keyword again. You can filter down just by U of M students. You could even select their specific year or major. All right, so company web pages. This is a really good spot to learn about positions that are available. So going right to the source. If you have some ideas of where you might want to be working already, this is a good way to navigate that. Oftentimes companies will have a section at the very bottom in little tiny letters that say careers or work with us. I would recommend selecting that. And then oftentimes you will see jobs listed here. And again, this might be where GoldPass directs you to finish your application on those company websites. So I do recommend applying through GoldPass or directly on the company websites. You might find positions through other places like Indeed or Simply Hired or Glassdoor, places like that. I think that's fine for searching for the positions, but if you're finding them on those aggregate websites, it's best to go directly to the company website and apply because 6 times as many people apply through those aggregate sites than directly on the company website. So keep that in mind. Sometimes it's a little bit of a numbers game too. You can also use the web page to learn a little bit more about who they are. So looking at their About Us section, researching their values, their products, services they provide, news, information like that. And then oftentimes they'll also have an information section about benefits, potentially employee resource groups or affinity groups. You might learn a little bit more about the culture this way too. We do have a list of job search websites that you can use on the CSE website. We will be sharing a link to that. So you can see our list for kind of a comprehensive listing. The link that's shared, it does have information broken down by state, by staffing agencies, which we'll talk about in just a second here too. And then also that what can I do with a major in page that I referenced previously. That has employers, and also under resources, you will find links to job boards that might pertain to your major. So those temporary or staffing agencies. If you are not familiar with what these are, it's basically kind of an organization that would work in the middle to help connect you as a job seeker with a company that's hiring. So Aerotech is a sample or example of a staffing agency. All of the ones on this list here work with science and engineering candidates. Sometimes they have exclusive arrangements with large companies, so you might not even be able to find the job posting directly on the company website, and you would have to go through a staffing agency in order to find that position. Sometimes they're temporary jobs. Those can be a really good way to learn new skills, gain some more experiences, make some money, especially while you're still searching for a permanent full-time position. And then sometimes they can also lead to full-time employment. Some positions are temporary to hire or contract to hire. So the hope is that if there is still a need from the company and you're still doing well in that position, that they would hire you on full-time. So then what do you do after you apply? You want to make sure that you follow up. Um, be proactive, reach out to those recruiters, find them on LinkedIn. Especially if you've had an interview with somebody, you want to make sure that you send them a thank you. Be respectful of their time. So you can send a thank you, but if you need to inquire about something, don't be sending them an email every day asking the same question. Give them a little bit of time, know that they're busy. Um, and if it is an application and you haven't heard about an interview yet, and you know that the window has closed, maybe give it about a week or so, and then you can reach out and still say that you're very excited about the position and you're wondering if they've made any decisions about bringing candidates in for an interview. So then you can kind of be aware of where you're at in the process and then get ready for those interviews too. So just wanted to show you the job offer guidelines that our college has put forth. For spring, the biggest thing to keep in mind is if you get an offer, we are asking companies to keep that offer open a minimum of 2 weeks, just to allow you to have time to fully consider your options. We do not like it when students renege on offers. So if you accept one, we really want you to go with that job offer. So that's kind of the guideline for spring. And you can also share that with your companies if they're asking you to get back to them within a week. You can send them a link and just say, these are some guidelines our college put forth. Would you be able to honor them? Getting ready for those interviews, we do have some professional attire assistance for you. We have two different programs happening. So, Ready for Success is a local organization in Minnesota that we've partnered with to provide limited or no cost clothing to you. Appointments are limited, but if you want to sign up for it, do so on the Career Fair website. You generally will get at least one suit, brand new or gently used, as well as accessories or other things based on availability. So you can sign up for that. And then all of you are welcome to text Gophers to the number on the screen, and you would receive a 30% discount for in-store or online professional attire through JCPenney. There's more details about that in Gold Pass too. So if you need more information, you can check it out there. All right, we have a few more upcoming events, extended drop-in hours. So if you need any additional assistance on job searching, your resume, getting ready for the career fair, Monday through Friday this week, we are available from 2 to 4. And then Monday, we are available from 10 to 4. There's a link on our homepage to join drop-in hours. You can chat, ask questions. And then our virtual resume marathon is happening on Friday. Today is the last day to sign up for that. So if you want to participate in it, it's a program where employers will give you feedback on your resume. Sign up in Gold Pass, and there's more information about it in there too. And then our virtual practice interview days happen after the career fair. And again, you would sign up for that in Gold Pass as well. Tomorrow we have our interviewing workshop at the same time, and then Friday we have an International Student Career Fair Prep workshop as well. So feel free to join in on those if you are interested. All right, so we are at about time. I will answer any additional questions if anyone is still wondering anything. Feel free to write it in the Q&A box, or you can send it in the chat if you would prefer. right. Well, if there are no additional questions, thank you for joining us today. As a reminder, this will be recorded and posted on the CSE YouTube channel. And thank you to Jasmine and Derek for helping me moderate and share links. I appreciate your help as well. All right. Have a good day, everybody.